Pour. That's right, where we review a whiskey that we've had earlier in the week.
Yeah.
And we kind of give it a further review of the whiskey, right?
It's basically where we act like experts, so you can too.
Yeah, because we're not experts.
No, we just, we just wing it. Pretend.
Well, we do a little bit more than pretend.
Well, I know. It's just that when you've drank as many whiskeys.
We've had a lot of whiskeys this year.
You can actually
start to discern the difference between
ones and the others, and also recommend based on your own pre-elections and ideas of what you like.
Pre-election, do we always throw in
No, stop that. That's not what I was saying. Maybe I just misspoke. Stop it. So today it's the Maker's Mark 101.
All right, Maker's Mark 101. I know this doesn't come out very often, and I think it's a limited release. It's 101 proof by Maker's Mark. To be honest, I haven't had a lot of Maker's Mark over the years. I usually put Maker's Mark into the realm like Jack Daniels.
Yeah, no, it's a Jack Daniels. To me, too.
Not that Jack Daniels is a bad whiskey. You may love Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
it's just not what I normally drink.
When you think Makers, I don't want to spend a lot of money.
No, that's true. Now this bottle, I think it ran about $50. $45-50 for this bottle.
Yeah, so we're going to do second pour. Let's just begin.
Okay, so before we do that, please be sure to like and subscribe our videos.
And, share it to anybody and everyone.
Please share our videos.
We're not groveling.
No, I'm groveling. I'm groveling.
We're just, requesting a favor.
It's a small favor. It's a small favor. Think about how much whiskey we drink.
We need help. And only you.
Only you can help us.
Okay, so here we go.
Okay, so Maker's Mark, right? So this is the 101 proof. Which makes it 50.5% ALB.
It's just basically their kind of cast strength of kind of what they always
do. That's a good way to explain it. I think that's pretty like their barrel proof almost.
Yeah, maybe they're barrel proof. Yeah, it's just...
Now, I will say that the bottle's always pretty snazzy when it comes to Maker's Mark because, the neat little melted cap.
They hand dip them in the wax.
But, your Maker's Mark, could you not at least do one cork?
Yeah,
screw top, man. Come on, guys.
That's the bougie.
Now, I think maybe they do that because when you rip it off to open it, it might be easier to twist it than just try to pull that off. But
that's not it.
Come on, one step up.
They're using the same ding-dang bottle for anything and everything they do.
Come on, this is a limited edition.
Yeah, I know.
But it's okay. It doesn't matter what the bottle looks like because sometimes bottles are deceiving.
Yeah,
and what looks like to be just a really bad bottle of whiskey is some amazing whiskey.
Yeah, so
was this an amazing whiskey? Let's find out, right?
Yeah, pour it up.
I'm gonna pour it up, so.
What you guys didn't know is I already have some in my glass. Now ask me why.
No, okay, we're not gonna talk about that. Okay, yeah, we are. So, we recently just finished our episode on Christmas TV specials and Christmas movies, right?
That's right, we did finish.
So, by the way, you can watch those by clicking right here.
Yep. It's right there by his mouth.
Where we talked about our top 5 Christmas TV specials and our top 5 Christmas movies.
Right.
Now, we did remove Rankin Bass Christmas Cart TV specials out of it because if we didn't, then Zay and I would just talk about that the entire time.
Yeah.
So now we had a little bit of Maker's Mark during that episode. We didn't review it very long because we're talking about Christmas stuff. Now we're talking about whiskey stuff.
Yeah, now it's whiskey. This is where we can deep dive.
I will say I don't think Zane was real impressed with Maker's Mark 101.
I was not impressed. In fact, I still have the exact same pour.
That's pretty bad.
Now, I'm gonna give it a fair shake.
I think that's a fair idea.
Sometimes, especially with whiskeys that I just don't hit me right, I need to go ahead and let them sit and air out. And that was my whole point before
that was a good idea.
I did a second pour.
That's a good idea.
It's not fair to be a total jackwagon because, frankly, think of how many bottles of Makers is sold. How many people really
it's a super popular whiskey, and it's a go-to whiskey for a lot of our drinker fans out there.
So I have to assume that probably my first impression is me being wrong.
And I will say that normally we're not going to bag on a whiskey. We're not being paid by Makers or by any other whiskey to promote or not promote. So everything we're saying is coming just from how we perceive the taste and our experience. Hopefully that helps you or decide if you want to try it or not try it, or maybe just piques your interest.
Yeah. So let's experience the nose.
Let's pique people's interest. So right off the bat, the nose.
So you have a fresher poured glass than I do.
I do, and I will say that the alcohol content is typical of a barrel proof.
Stings a little more.
A little more stingy.
But I'm still getting a smoother oak smell and flavoring in my nose.
Bunch of new oak smell. It's not like that old char smell that you get.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's a fresh barrel. It's not even
barrel.
like a Jack Daniels that you get the real char.
No charcoal kind of filter in there. I will say there's a lot of oak, a lot of standard caramel, vanilla. Nothing really just standing out on the palate, on the smell that makes me go, wow, this is completely different than other makers.
That's the maybe the kicker.
Yeah,
I'm not saying.
And I do preface it with the fact that I haven't had a lot of makers, and so it's not like I got makers here in the whiskey vault now, and I have it to compare. But
before we drink it, I need to have full disclosure.
Full disclosure.
Now I've had a lot of makers.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But it's always been with a meal.
Okay, and it's
usually because you go somewhere and they had nothing but makers, and so that's why I ended up with it.
Let me ask you this: it's makers or it's mellow corn?
Is there a choice there?
Yeah, I just said mellow corn or makers.
Yeah, and of course makers.
There you go, makers.
Yeah, no, let's say I'm gonna be honest as we go along. So I say we taste.
Let's taste it. Let's do this. All right. Still spicy in the front. A little bit of a kind of a tingle burn there. Normal, typical bourbon.
The flavor hit me with that thing that sometimes
whatever that is right up front
that I just kind of don't like.
Yeah, there's something about it right up front. It's almost the only way I can explain. It's like a dust, like a dusty sawdust type kind of flavor.
So here's what I get when I drink it. The front end, before you have time to really process the spice.
Mm-hmm.
I get the applewood flavor that comes with almost like fermented apple. Okay, and then that disappears and it goes to what I'm gonna think you're probably calling that dusty sawdust kind of flavor that actually to me hits me like it's a chemical additive nearly.
Oh.
And it causes like that constrictive. My body wants to reject that. Let's put it that way, because I'm so damn bougie.
We are bougie.
And I know we're bougie, and I know that it's unfair to be just a total jackwagon. However, there is a little jackwagonery, and you can read it in my face when I drink it. I can't help it.
Yeah, I think let's go ahead before let's rate it, and then I want to try something.
Okay, that sounds good.
So let's go ahead and rate it.
So, if you, in our scale, we have a 1 finger.
1 to 4 finger, which makes
fingers.
it if a 1 finger is like, okay, we will drink it. It's not our favorite. 4 fingers like we're buying bottles of it.
Yeah. So this will be obviously for me. It would be just a 1 finger.
Just a 1 finger.
I frankly I don't think I want to drink it, but as opposed to not having whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're at a bar and they have makers or they have Jack or they have, something even cheaper.
Yeah, I would go that route.
You would go the maker's route, right?
Yeah,
I would say I would do that too. I think maybe mixing it, might make it a better whiskey.
Which a lot of people are like, that's a shame.
Well, but there's a lot of people who will mix this.
Yeah.
They put Coke in it, or they don't drink it. They don't drink it. Just
I mean,
clean.
Evan Williams has made basically a fortune being a mixer.
Oh yeah, especially like the white label.
Yeah, sure.
So for me, I feel like it's the same for me. So it's probably a 1 finger.
Yeah.
It's definitely to me a 1 finger whiskey. I think the 101, all that really does is just raises the normal 80 proof to 101, so it's a little spicier. If you're really into makers, I suspect you're really excited about this whiskey.
Yeah, I could see that if the flavor palettes just really suit you. They are unique.
Yeah, they are.
And there are things to really pull out of it. It's just not my preference. Let's just put it that way.
I would say, like I said, this bottle, I think it runs about $35-$40 for this bottle. It's a limited edition. If you're a big Makers fan, you probably already have some of this. You looked forward to it.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear people that really like it.
I do too.
Kind of what they pull and what are the notes that makes it that kind of super popular for them.
I think for sure this doesn't make me a Makers fan.
No, I don't.
I'm not saying that Makers can't do something that would probably make me a Makers fan.
I think that this has harsh flavors that regular Makers doesn't have. and I don't think they do harsh as good as other people.
Now I will say this. I mean, I don't want to do a comparison as far as cost comparison, but I will say something like another 100 proof was like Early Times. It's about $22 a bottle, right? I mean, $22. I'm gonna give you just a tad itty bit in here, just enough to wet your whistle again. And think about the difference there between like Early Times, which is, like I said, it's about, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Same proof almost, only off by one. Another maker that's been around for a while.
See, it's got
so much different, right?
It's got a smooth nose.
Now, it's only one off, not as spicy, not as hot.
But that, my dear friend,
It's like a sugar cookie.
it's good.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And that part I'm talking about, that little sawdusty part, that's just not there.
It's not there.
Now, maybe that's what people are into. Maybe that's what you like about makers. It's completely different to me, though. And that's kind of how I could see it. It's like I would give Early Times I give Early Times like a 3.
Yeah, I could drink Early Times regularly, and
It's a really good whiskey for the price.
I think one of those things is like with you guys, if you find one of these and you are willing just to throw the cash out, it'd be interesting for you to try it stacked up to the whiskeys that you enjoy regularly, if you don't already have one.
And I would say that's why you drink whiskey. I mean, nothing's more fun than drinking whiskey with somebody, and you try a whiskey and you're like, I don't really like it, and then you compare it to another whiskey, and you go, I do really like that. So you may take makers and you might try it and say, I love it, and then you try like Early Times and like, I really don't like it. So that's flavor palettes for different people are different. I just know for us,
This just isn't doing it for us.
it's just not as enjoyable as some other whiskeys. It's not a bad whiskey.
But lesson to be learned. Basil Hayden, I was not a fan to begin with, and now I'm like, I really like it.
And there are people out there that don't like Basil Hayden. They're like, oh, it's just not enough flavor. It's just too light. But it depends on what you're looking for in a whiskey.
So this goes into lock and seal in the vault anyway, and I will try it again when you pull it out the next time.
And we will drink it again.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely. Now, what I'm saying is, will I go to the store and buy some more? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, but revision, I mean, I could see us doing another basically second pour episode after a while and
and one
see
thing,
what it hits us on another day.
You're right, because sometimes what happens after you've opened a bottle of whiskey, after a amount of time and air has gotten to it, it kind of changes its flavor, and maybe it'll open up a little bit more again.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 days from now. But in the meantime, please be sure to continue to like and subscribe our videos, and continue to send us ideas and comments of what you'd like to see us review. I mean, you never know, you might list a whiskey and we might do it for Whiskey Pop and for second pour, right?
Because I also have another question for you. Do you drink out of Glencairn glasses? And if so, do you feel like it makes a difference?
That's a good question. I think we should have that conversation soon.
I do too.
In the meantime, continue to be cool out there, and we'll see you guys next week on our next whiskey review.
Cheers.
Cheers.